right, we're trying this again. We're live. Welcome back to another episode of the Cycleshack. I'm Ivan Rodriguez. From all the way up in the Hudson Valley, this is the Cycleshack Podcast, the show that talks about motorcycles and much, much more. Check us out on the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com or on Facebook at the Cycleshack Podcast. You can also click on my link on the Facebook page to get to the website. Long website name, I'm not going to go ahead and give you that, but welcome. Thanks for joining. This is broadcast number 2 for episode 47. I tried broadcasting, but due to technical difficulties, which we got repaired finally, we're back on the air. So we're doing this live on twitch.tv to be rebroadcasted afterwards on YouTube. So thankfully we worked through that problem. I want to say thank you to show sponsor Anchor.fm, the only way to podcast. Check out Anchor.fm on Anchor.fm. Sign up. It's quick, fast, and easy. It's the only easiest way to do a podcast, folks. So definitely check it out. I want to give a shout out to AJ. AJ is a Maverick motorcycle mechanic at Armsco Custom Cycles. Check AJ out at armscocustomcycles.com. He offers complete performance installations, pipes, headers, performance intakes, tuning, custom bars, apes, chrome accessories, LED lighting, all types of repair service, painting, detailing, and more. He's a complete motorcycle service shop. Check him out. He's got a new line of T-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies in. He's selling those as well. Again, go to his website. He's armscocustomcycles.com. You can email him at armscocustomcycles@gmail.com or telephone number 201-697-0346. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday, of course, he's closed. Later hours by appointment only. So this guy's out in Totowa, New Jersey. If you need a great mechanic, check out AJ at Armsco Custom Cycles. And I know we will. So I'm sorry I sound like crap, guys. I'm getting over a cold that I've had for about a week now. And again, this is the rebroadcast of the show that I rebroadcasted yesterday. I did a 48-minute show. I caught the audio. I threw it on iTunes. So this is going to be a new rebroadcasting. It's going to sound probably different than what was on iTunes, but I'm going to talk about the different topics. The same topics, I'm sorry. But since I was having technical difficulties, it did not come out. I only got, of a 48-minute show, 9 minutes came out on YouTube, which was horrible. But I got the whole 48 minutes on iTunes or Spotify. Check it out, Anchor.fm, whatever have you. And kind of went over some quick stories. One that was kind of funny to me. George Clooney. Read a little article that George Clooney is forbidden from riding motorcycles anymore. Well, what do you say? What do you say? Are my notes crossed here? There we go. Apparently, the Ocean's 11 star, age 57, was tossed over the top of his motorcycle when riding on the highway in July in Italy, when another car pulled in front of him unexpectedly. Sent Clooney flying around 20 feet in the air, and required a visit to the hospital in Olbia, in Italy somewhere. Apparently he lives in Italy. And he says he's not allowed to ride motorcycles anymore, jokingly, because he hit a guy at 70 miles an hour. Well, I just thought the article was funny to read. You can check it out yourself at bikerspost.com. It's dated May 4th. A little bit old, but that's all right. So the 7, according to motorcyclecruiser.com, another thing I went over was the 7 best motorcycle rallies in the U.S. Now, we're in the beginning stages still of the 2019 motorcycle season. And I've already gone to, I went to Rolling Thunder last weekend in Washington, D.C. That was an experience, but I'll talk about that later. And did a few rides, went out joyriding on my own. And so far, most of my riding was done the month of May. And it felt good. It felt good to be back on the bike. I was actually out today. There's a threat of rain up here in upstate New York. My wife makes fun of me because she says, every time you look at the weather, you always say, yeah, it's going to rain, it's going to rain. Well, today I saw it was going to rain. So what I did was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, went outside, pulled out the hose, pulled out the bike, because when I got back from Rolling Thunder, I got caught in a rainstorm. And the bike's just a mess. It's got all grit. I hate it when it's gritty and grimy. When it's been through a rainstorm, I like to, just hose it down a little bit, get all the road grime off of it and polish it up. Give it a fresh coat of wax after I dry it down real good. So that's what I did today. And I beat the rain. She's all tucked away, ready to ride this weekend. This weekend we're going to Americade up in Lake George, New York. It's about a 3-hour ride, so that's a good deal. But again, getting back to the 7 best motorcycle rallies in the U.S. This is according to motorcyclecruiser.com. Daytona Bike Week, usually March 8th through the 17th. It's the first stop. Usually kicks off the motorcycle season in Florida. It's Florida, but what Daytona lacks in scenery, it makes up for activities. There's literally a dozen, if not more, bike shows, including the world-famous Rat's Hole Custom Bike Show, demo rides of all kinds of music, and 5 completely types of official racing, including flat track, road racing, supercross, drag racing, and vintage racing for people watching or copious amounts of never mind. But yeah, Daytona Bike Week. At least the first one. There's another bike week in October. But the kickoff season of riding season officially for Daytona is March 8th through March 17th. You got Myrtle Beach. Excuse me. Just not pronouncing things right. This call's really kicking my ass. Cold, rather. Myrtle Beach Bike Week. May 10th through the 19th, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Laid-back southern scenery, moderate temperatures, and a variety of bike events. A hell of a rockin' music scene to help explain why there are 3 separate bike weeks going down in Myrtle Beach every year. So every year there are 3 different bike weeks in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's a V-twin Nirvana. The annual spring rally draws mostly Harley Davidson fans, many of them chilling at Murrells Inlet, south of Myrtle Beach. So that's another one. Hey, we're heading here next weekend, or later this week, because the week already began, Sunday. I'm heading down Friday. Americade, up in Lake George, New York, June 4th through the 8th, usually. For some reason, Americade doesn't make a lot of top 10 lists. But that's what happens when you have non-riders scribbling this so-called best of articles. Americade is worthy of the accolades from the scenic view to Lake George to its perfect location and base for any number of awesome rides, including a ride around the Adirondack Mountains that surround it. You can sign up for either guided or unguided rides, poker runs, charity rides, and all kinds of demo rides too. There's a whole lot of bars, hotels, a lot of action going on down in the boardwalk, so it's a nice, quiet place. Americade started out as a Goldwing rally. It's flooded with Harley Davidsons now, but it started as a Honda Goldwing event in Lake George about 20-something years ago. Laconia Bike Week, June 8th through the 16th. That's like following right into Lake George. So while Lake George is going on, at the back end of it, Laconia starts in Laconia, New Hampshire. It may not be as big as Sturgis or Daytona, but Laconia makes the list partly because it lays claim to being the oldest bike rally in the country. All right. Don't think of it as a quaint, sleepy New England scene. Laconia is no stranger to weird and fun events, and it's famous for the biggest beer belly contest. the ROT Biker Rally, Republic of Texas, June 13th through the 16th in August, Texas. It may not have a pedigree or the dusty historical gravitas of some of the other grand old rallies, but with 200,000 plus riders in attendance, the Republic of Texas Biker Rally certainly has the popularity thing going on. Another thing that's in its favor, no kids are allowed. Yep, this is a biker rally, adults only. Sturgis, the cliche granddaddy of them all. Located in the stunning setting of the South Dakota's Black Hills, surrounded by miles upon miles of fantastic roads to ride and mind-blowing slate of activities firing off all week long. The Sturgis Rally truly has something for everyone. Sturgis has been around since 1938, and every August the small town of South Dakota typically swells to about 500,000 people. So, one of the final ones here is the Four Corners Motorcycle Rally, Labor Day weekend, August 30th through September 1st, Durango, Colorado. The Four Corners Rally gets its popularity mainly for its location. People love riding around that part of the country. And it says here, you'll be treated to some of the finest, twistiest blacktops in the land, including the famous $1 Million Highway with its 284 turns in less than 80 miles. Wow. That's crazy. Excuse me. I was going to say no to that. Now, you do have some honorable mentions here, which is Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue in Fayetteville, Arkansas. You got the AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days in Lexington, Ohio. The Rolling Sands Moto Classic, Huntington Beach, California. The Hand-Built Show in Austin, Texas. And the Mid-Atlantic Women's Motorcycle Rally in Virginia. Women on Wheels Ride-In. That's what it's called. And also the AMA Gypsy Tour Schedule. Those are some honorable mentions. So Harley Davidson celebrating their 5 millionth motorcycle coming off the assembly line in York, PA. Says here, May 8th, they made history when the 5 millionth motorcycle rolled off the assembly line in in York, Pennsylvania. Ready to carry its new rider to limitless opportunities for adventure and discovery. The story of Harley Davidson's vehicle operations in York began in the cusp of World War II, when the U.S. Navy commissioned a factory to meet the urgent demand for anti-aircraft guns. In 1973, the Harley-Davidson motorcycle production moved from Milwaukee to York, and Ironhead Sportster and Shovelhead FL models filled the production lines. When a group of Harley-Davidson executives bought the motor company back in 1981, York stayed in the family. Well, that's cool. What do we got here? 13 minutes and we haven't got kicked off the air. That means it is working. Problem solved, hopefully. Yesterday was 9 minutes and we bumped off the air because of the connection. Today's workers stamp the sheet metal for tanks, fenders, form and weld our motorcycle frames, apply painted finishes that are the benchmark of the industry, and staff a final assembly line that is the embodiment of their commitment to the state-of-the-art manufacturing, technology, and world-class quality standards. All right. 5 million bikes off the York, Pennsylvania assembly line. Good deal, Harley. Let's hope some of those will be cheaper. It says here that Harley Davidson's trying to build some cheaper bikes for the Indian market. Now, I get it. They've got a factory out there that they've had for a little bit now. But I don't know. Apparently in India has like very crazy for motorcycles. There's a big motorcycle craze in India. And it's usually a small motorcycle market. But I say, you know, we got to make something over here to cater to the Americans. You know, the what is it, the Street Glide Standard or Electric Glide Standard. That's not cheap enough. That's $18,000. That's a base model touring bike. Why not come out with something that's something like a Dyna? You know what I mean? Or something a little bit better than that, than $18,000. I want to see a bike that's a dynamite bike between, give it between 12 and 14 grand. Let me see what you could do, Harley. Between 12 and 14 grand. Something with wow factor. You know? I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm a little hard on them. I expect a lot more from the brand that I love. So, that's what they're saying. Triumph got a recall in for about 726 of its 2019 Speed Twins on a potential coolant leak. Triumph Motorcycles America Ltd. is recalling 726 of a certain 2019 Speed Twin motorcycle due to its improper routing of the coolant expansion hose. This routing may cause the hose to contact the right side exhaust header pipe, damaging the hose and resulting in a coolant leak near the rear tire. Coolant in the rear tire could lead to loss of control and increase the risk for crash. Ouch. So stop in, Harley. Harley won't fix it for free. Harley probably won't fix it at all. Triumph will fix this defective item for free. It will not cost you, so call your local Triumph dealer, make an appointment, and get her in for the recall. Which states have the most motorcycle fatalities? Now, I'm not going to ramble through this entire list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you what you want to hear. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you the list of registered motorcycles per state with the number of fatalities. Okay? Dead last. Let's start with last. Dead last. The state with the least amount of motorcycle fatalities based on the amount of registered motorcycles. Okay? Some of these, the number of fatalities themselves might exceed this, but it's not based on the amount of licensed registered motorcyclists. The state of Montana came in for the top 50. They came in dead last at number 50 with 306,655 registered motorcycles. The fatalities per year, 23. Okay, that's dead last. Now, another thing you're probably asking, if you live in New York, which most of the people that listen to this show live in California. I know that because I look at the metrics. So, I tell you what, let's give you California. Where does California place in this list? California is number 20 with a whopping 842,543 registered motorcycles, 529 fatalities. That's a lot. They come in at number 20. New York. New York comes in at number 38 of 50 with 392,178 registered motorcycles with 145 fatalities. And the number one was Mississippi with 28,124 registered motorcycles, but 40 fatalities annually. Now, you get that? The number of fatalities based on the registered motorcycles is what it is. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. Mississippi came in at number 1 with 40 fatalities a year. Texas came in at number 2 with 490 fatalities. But here's the thing. Texas is number 2. Mississippi's number 1 because the statistics, the numbers show that there's 490 fatalities, but of 364,690 registered motorcyclists. Mississippi has 28,124 registered motorcycles with 40 fatalities. So you do the math, that equates to more fatalities per year for that year for the amount of registered motorcycles. So that ranked at number 1 over Texas. So there you have it. Why do you need that information? I don't know. I read the article. I thought it was interesting. I figured I'd share it. Why not? You got any comments? Don't forget to email the show, the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com. Or you can go to the Facebook page at the Cycleshack Podcast. So, what else do we got for you? All right, we're going good here. Congestion pricing comes to New York City. So, down in New York City, I'm up in upstate New York, but in New York City, apparently the governor and the mayor decided to impose a new toll past 60th Street. I don't know how this is going to work, because if you're coming from the Bronx side, going downtown locally, understood. You pass 60th Street, it's going to cost you $11 on your Easy Pass. It's a lot of money. But how are you going to do that from the Brooklyn side and the Queens side? Because it's only giving on this article that it's going to happen anyone going below 60th Street. As part of the New York State budget, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and the state legislature adopted congestion pricing for Manhattan's Central Business District from 60th Street south, except for the FDR Drive and the West Side highways. The Central Business District tolling program makes New York City the first place in the United States to charge road users to pass through busy urban centers. They think this is going to help congestion. This is only going to make these people go down past 60th Street and stay down there. So you're going to have cars lingering around, and not just cars, some cabs. You're going to have service vehicles like HVAC, construction vehicles, UPS, FedEx trucks. They're going to give them everything past 60th Street and leave them down there swirling around. So below 60th Street, you're going to have like a whole conglomerate of traffic. Watch. I'll guarantee it. Let's see how long that lasts. 11.52 per day. Now, that's including motorcycles, and motorcycles will not be charged cheaper. It's cheaper for a motorcycle to cross a toll. If the toll's $1.50 for cars, it's probably like 90 cents for motorcycles, something like that. Okay? Motorcycles are included in that $11.52 price. Doesn't go down for a bike. Just an FYI. Apple iTunes is being removed. So Apple is phasing out iTunes. They're saying that Apple's phasing out its content download and streaming service. They will unveil a spread of new features geared to moving the company's focus away from the iPhone starting Monday at the Tech Giants Worldwide Developers Conference. One of these changes is getting rid of iTunes, which has served since 2001 as the home for all users' music, television, and podcast libraries. Going forward, 3 new desktop apps will be unveiled: music, TV, and podcasts, to house and manage the data. This will match the format already used on iPhones and iPads. So check this out. I got an iPhone, and yes, I have a podcast app. I have a TV app, Apple TV. The music app has not come out yet. Now, there is Apple Music on a separate app. But if we're talking about iTunes, You see, back in the day when you used to buy an iTunes card or put a credit card or something, you were able to download albums for $9.99 or $2.99 a single song, $1.99 a single song, or 99 cents a single song. When you downloaded that music, it was available via cloud to any device, Apple device, that you purchased. So over the years, if you had an iPad, an iPod Touch, Apple phone, an Apple 4, Apple 5, Apple 6, Apple 7, as long as you signed into your Apple iTunes account, you had the availability of all those songs that you paid for years ago or over the years, and you can continuously listen to it because it's like it belonged to you. So I'm curious to see what Apple's going to do with all that stuff now. So I'm assuming that the app, you're going to be able to sign into Apple Music using your quote-unquote iTunes account, and everything will be there. You would hope. So let's see how that goes. That's all I really got, guys. It was a quick show, about a half hour. As you can see, we're 26 minutes in. And my last thing here was last weekend I had, while I caught this cold, Friday we rode down to Virginia. Actually, we stayed in Virginia in a hotel on the Virginia side, but we went really to attend Rolling Thunder in Washington, D.C., which pays homage to our veterans for Memorial Day weekend. So we thought it would be a good experience to go. I had a handful of guys that I went with. And we stayed on the Arlington, Virginia side in a hotel. And, man, I caught this cold while out there. And I didn't want to be a, spoil sport. But this is the first time in my life I've had a cold this long. Usually when I have the sniffles or I have a scratchy throat, it lasts 2 or 3 days. I take some medicine and then the way it goes. Now I'm taking medicine and it hasn't gone. I still have congestion. For the past week, my head's felt like a blown up balloon. And, I've just been gritting it out and just getting through it. You still got to work. You still got to do your thing. But, yesterday I took the day to rest. I was supposed to go out on a ride, but just decided to stay home. And, my wife was right. It was well-deserved. I needed a rest. I needed to rest myself up, especially since this weekend I plan on going on a trip to Americade and staying out there for a couple of days. So, I needed some wind therapy. So that 5-hour ride to Virginia was nice. It was really nice. It's when I got there that I started, it started to affect me more. And I didn't want to stay in the hotel room, being, the party pooper. So I went out and enjoyed myself, breathed, fresh air. And I felt good as the hours went on. I would wake up in the morning feeling like crap, but I'd, take a nice warm shower, clean myself out, my sinuses, blow my nose real good before I left. And, I would just grit it out. And I had a great time. The one thing I could say about Rolling Thunder was I was so proud to talk to these veterans. It was nice to see how proud they are of serving their country. These people love talking their stories about, their infantry back in the day. I saw everything from Vietnam veterans to Desert Storm veterans, Iraq veterans, Afghanistan, you name it. It had it. It was all veterans. There was so many bikes out there. I don't know. I heard there was 1.1 million motorcycles there this year. I want to say it kind of looked like it, just over the Lincoln Center where we parked. It looked like there was like maybe 200,000 or 300,000 bikes. It was a sea of motorcycles. I'm surprised we got around the way we did. But then again, we got there Friday, stayed Saturday, left Sunday morning. Sunday morning was when all the real memorial services and shows or whatever were going to start. So as they were heading in for Sunday and Monday especially, we were heading out Sunday morning. So we didn't get trapped in that, thankfully. But again, it was good to talk to these guys who served our country. I was proud to hear those stories. And, veterans like to tell their stories, man. It makes them feel good. And I'm glad I took part of that. I was glad to talk to these guys. I met a group of firefighters on Saturday night. We went to, one of the chain restaurants, Outback Steakhouse or whatever, to have dinner. And it was about a 30, 40-minute wait. And, we killed time because we met these bikers who came in from Rhode Island, further up north more than us, and took our same route coming down. And, yeah, man, we just, the road, that's what I love. The road bonds you. Motorcycle, leather, you name it, patches on the back, hey, what's up, man? Shook hands, spoke to each other for about 30, 40 minutes while we waited for our tables like we've known each other for years, telling stories about bikes. Some of the guys were veterans, so they were telling us stories about when they served. They were firefighters, so they were talking about the job. So it was cool. I loved it. Had a great time. Aside from being sick, which that part was miserable for me, but other than that, I had a great time. Really, it was very enjoyable, and I would definitely do it again. The same way I did it. I wouldn't stay Sunday and Monday. That's too hectic, man. You'd never get out of there. There was just that many bikes. On the ride back, of course, I'm dealing with this cold, and sure as shit, halfway through the ride, it started raining. And I got caught in the rain. So I think that's what made me feel like crap for the rest of the days. But, we're shaking it off. It's been a week already, and I still got the cold. So we'll see what happens. We'll grit it out. Keep taking the meds. And, yeah, it was a great experience rolling Thunder. Glad to have taken part of it. And this weekend, we're heading up to Lake George to Americade, man, to do some demo rides. Every year we go so far I've gone for the past. This is my 4th year going straight. So, yeah, we're looking to have a good time. So, the Americade is more like maybe 200,000 or 300,000 bikes, maybe, just shy of that go there to Lake George. And there's a lot of events, a ton of events there. So, it's the first time we're going and we're staying for a few days consecutively. We've gone normally for the day. Last year we went for an overnight. And but this time we're going Friday, coming back Sunday, which is great. So, tune in next time. Thanks for joining me. Check us out, the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook at the Cycleshack Podcast. Questions, comments, show topics, anything you want. Check me out at the Cycleshack Podcast. Keep those 2 wheels down. Keep riding. I want to send photographs of your bikes, man. I want to see them. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.